Good evening, everybody. So it is 3 o'clock in the morning, like right near about that time. It is the night of, well, technically it's the 15th of December, but it's the night of the 14th, which means it is the new moon. New moon in Sagittarius, and why every single month, this happens to me. On the full moon and the new moon, I can't sleep. The day before and the day after usually are the days, like 3 days leading up to and after the new moon and full moon. I can't sleep, which is why I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And it looks like, I'm just wide awake, because I am. And I was sitting here reading something about, the Great Conjunction coming up. Oh, I need to re-dye my hair, you guys. But something about the Great Conjunction coming up, and you guys, you see that? I've got white in my hair. I don't know if it's a birthmark, but it's always been there. Do you see that? Strange. Like literally ever since I was a kid, that's been like that. Just that one spot. It's the only spot. How weird. But anyway, I'm distracting myself. I started to get the feeling that maybe I should pull some tarot cards. So I don't know if Allison's still awake. But let's go out here and grab the cards. Let's see. My book. Let's go into sorry, I look like a mess. But it's the middle of the night. Forgive me. So let's go back here to my room back here. Let me set you guys down so I can grab my cards. Ever since the other night when I was in here and I almost literally like grabbed a brown recluse spider, I'm like so paranoid I'm gonna see another one. Okay, so let's light a candle. Let's light these candles over here. So if you're like me and about, twice a month or so, you have a really hard time sleeping, it's probably, the moon affecting you. Like it, our bodies are mostly water. Therefore, the moon is going to affect how you feel. Sometimes it will affect you more, depending on where your placements are in your chart. Like right now, this new moon's affecting me because my moon is in Sagittarius. I'm Sagittarius moon. So I am really feeling almost like a purge, almost like a inspection of because I'm already, let me just move you guys up here. I've already over the past few years have done a lot of soul work. I have inspected myself, and I can now look at, I've gotten to the point, you guys, and I'm so proud of myself. I've gotten to the point with myself where in the midst of a problem, in the midst of an argument that used to send me wildly out of control, in the midst of a situation like that, I could stop and I could recognize what is going on and how a person may be triggering me and what that is pointing to. I used to not be able to do that at all. Granted, I'm going to give myself some slack and not beat myself up every time I am not able to check myself in the moment. But For now, I'm just going to be happy that I can. I do have that ability right now. So I've been reading up a lot about the Great Conjunction and what it means and what it's all implying. And from what I understand is Saturn and Jupiter conjunct every 20 years, like they're going to do this year. But for the last 200 years, or maybe it was 600 years, something like that, like 600 years or so, for the last however long, they have been conjuncting in earth signs. Besides, there was one time in like the very beginning 1900s where it conjuncted in Libra. But from now, or from December 21st until the next 150 years, you guys, they will start conjuncting in air signs. So what that is implying is we, as a society, for the last year or so, actually since 2012, the old systems of government and how things are and like how things are run and how we communicate and how we feel about each other, all of those things, like our whole society is being flipped right now. It's being gutted. It's being, all the negative has to come out. All of the ugly parts of people have to come out, because in order to change and move into a new way of being, you have to look at those ugly parts of things. You can't ignore it. You have to acknowledge it so you can release it and let it go. So that's what's happening. And so we are moving into the actual age of Aquarius. Like, so we will start being, wherever your Saturn and your Jupiter are placed in your chart, will determine how it affects you and everything like that. So, look up your birth chart. You can go on, just Google birth chart calculator. You have to know your exact time you were born and things like that. You put that in and it will calculate what you are. The best app that I've found is one called Astro Matrix. That one, pay for the premium. It's worth it. It gives really accurate readings and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light a little bit of mugwort and yarrow, just to open my senses and my third eye a little bit more, because that's a good thing to do to get the mind working really well. Let's do some cannabis leaves again. Lavender. You guys, I need some water. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to make this incense really quick and then I'll be right back. Okay, I found everything that I was looking for. Got the incense going, so show you that. Got the candles going. So now let's pull a card. So I'm going to connect with my guides and my higher self, which is what I think guides me. Because I don't engage in any type of prayer or anything like that. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying the way I communicate is just basically through my intuition. Like, I just trust that, what I'm saying is, what I'm meaning to say. So what I want to ask is, what should we do in preparation for the Great Conjunction? And for this solar flare that is happening, that's another thing. There's a solar flare that is going to be sending, when the sun has solar flares, that is what creates the northern lights, right? And it also affects, all the electromagnetic occurrences on our planet, which include us. And you can look back, you can do this research for yourself. I've already done this research, but every big occurrence that happens with the sun lines up perfectly with leaps in human consciousness, okay? And so we're on the 21st, we're going to, and it's coming from, it's not just coming from, it's going to be a gamma ray burst coming from the galactic center. So they're, in a lot of tribal cultures, they recognize that at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, there is a center sun, right? So when you see a picture of the Milky Way, the brightest part is at the center. Well, they call that the galactic center, or the galactic sun, or that's what they call it, the galactic sun. It's at the galactic center, and that's where it's coming from. So it's this upgrade. It's going to upgrade our consciousness. Sorry, my light is dying. But it's going to upgrade our consciousness. And if you have been doing any type of soul work, be ready for a change in perspective, a higher understanding. If you're going through hard times right now and you follow these things, don't give up. Don't give in to your bad feelings. Don't give in to your sense of hopelessness, because that's all it is. It's just a purging of old things, of old ways of being. I'm going to have to turn the light on. Sorry about that, guys. The light sucks, but like I said, it's 3 a.m. and we're back here in the back room. So I'm going to sit down here on the floor. Have you guys sit here on my little table. You guys see my hypomia, or I think that's what it's called, the impatience. Okay, so is there anything that we should be doing? What should our focus be on December 21st, 2020? So we're going to be moving into the age of Aquarius. Is there anything that we need to know about this time? How to prepare? A message we need to hear? Again, I'm asking my guides, calling them my angels, my guides, my spirit guides, my higher self, the collective mind. What is something that we as a collective need to hear? Couple jumpers. Uh-oh. Look here, you guys. Death and judgment. Those aren't bad things, though. Whenever you see, the death tarot card or the devil, it's not really referring to anything negative, but sometimes it can be. It just depends. Is there anything that we need to be prepared for December 21st, 2020? The Great Conjunction and the next upgrade in consciousness. Okay, you guys, let's pull a couple. Strength. So we need to hold our strength. Okay? Okay, you guys, it looks like there's going to be a lot of disillusion. A lot of people trying to scare you. People are going to be, news channels are already doing it. They're going to try to use, activate your fear. So you stay in that low vibrational frequency, that low vibrational state, because those emotions, fear, anger, resentment, judgment, all of those types of emotions keep you at a low frequency, which makes you easy to upset. When you're easy to upset, you're easy to control. And that's just it. Like, if you have the greatest control over yourself by the way you act. And a lot of the times, there's certain things that could inhibit your ability to control that about yourself. But if you meditate on that and really sit on it and tell yourself that and recognize the signs of what gets you to that point of in that fearful state of mind, because my fear, a lot of it comes from a scarcity mindset where I'm always thinking things are going to go away. I'll never have what I have. Everything's going to be ripped. Because it's happened to me so many times in my life where things have just been my entire life ripped out from underneath me, So we have to get out of that scarcity mindset. We have to get into a place of strength, but not brute strength. You have to have a strength that stems from compassion, because you understand why somebody would act that way, So if you can keep that in mind, because right now there's a lot of people going through the dark night of the soul. If you don't know what that term means, look it up. There's a lot of people purging old childhood traumas. There's a lot of people working through personality patterns or survival tactics or coping mechanisms, negative coping mechanisms that maybe have worked in the past but are ceasing to be of any help now. So a lot of people are going through a lot of change internally. So if you can keep telling yourself that and recognize that if you are having a lot of issues in your life, that you have a lot of things that you are holding on to, or maybe that you're just choosing to not look at, you're just acting like it doesn't exist. That's equally as bad as stuffing it down and acting, if you act like it doesn't exist, the more power it has over you, the more fear floods your system, because you have the secret, you have this big secret that you think you need to keep. Purge it. Nothing is worse than the consequences that come from stuffing down who you are, stuffing down your fear, stuffing down your emotions. Let everything just flow, okay? Let people know how you feel. If somebody is making you uncomfortable or upset, tell them. But tell them from a place of compassion, so that you don't get caught misunderstanding each other and then you're in a big old war. So let's just read a couple little anecdotes from my book here. Okay. The red line and the white woman represent the strongest sides of human nature. As the personification of wildness and wisdom, they increase our vitality and joie de vivre. At the same time, they warn us about their unconscious versions, known as anima or animus. These express themselves in animal instincts and wild thoughts which swirl under the surface. Think about the sorcerer's apprentice, who had no idea what he was saying and bringing about. As above, so below, man and woman have two centers of lust, one between the legs and one between the ears. Fulfillment is being present to the full, concentrating all of one's strength to focus on the moment. The key to potency is the recognition and reconciliation of strengths and weaknesses. Forget useless ideals and half-hearted activity. Give the force a new chance. To live in the fullness of one's strength is to be completely present at any given moment. So this card is also the card for high points and peak sexual experiences, as well as in every other walk of life. So basically what I just said, like you have to, in your greatest times of suffering, you have to know that everybody is going through something right now. And so don't get caught up in taking other people's pain that they project on personally. Don't torture yourself with your mind and your thoughts. Write it down, do something with it, get it out of you, let it flow. Tell somebody, write it down, do something to express it, because it's not good for your body and it's not good for just your overall well-being to hold on to your thoughts and your emotions, especially if they're really hard ones. If you are having a lot of problems, telling yourself negative things, just start by, you can start by changing that by being in a more grateful state. So when you catch yourself being mean to yourself or other people, write down a couple things you're grateful for. I promise you, I tell you guys that all the time, but it is something that I practiced and I tested to see if it would work because I read about it. And it worked. I don't think the way I used to think last year. Last year, I blamed everybody. I was upset. I took drugs. I ran away from my problems. I pushed people away. And this year is totally different. I see things so differently. I react so differently. I understand people from a different level, a deeper level, and therefore I'm able to connect with other people much easier. But yeah, let me look at these two, the Death and the Judgment card. Let's see what that's talking about. Okay. Sadness in the face of death and loss is unavoidable, but don't try to suppress a fear of death. One can die before one dies and still be alive long after death. In any case, the meaning of death is not nothingness. The reaper wishes to bring in a harvest. Here the black rider bears a harvest crown on his standard. And as long as you do not have this, die and be reborn. You are but a dreary guest on this dark earth. Which fruits are ripe to pluck? Which results are still missing? What is no longer fitting you? The effects of one's own life continue to make themselves felt beyond death. All the more urgent is thus the question as to what you plan to experience, form, and harvest during this life. Make space for a new sunrise. If a life is to bear fruit, the conditions must be prepared for the harvest in appropriate sequence, but it is never too late to begin. Something comes to an end when something pleasant comes to an end. We are sad and conversely glad when something awful stops, but the image also reminds us there is still something left to do. You need your positive aggression, the strength to bring about necessary and radical change. So what it's saying is you need to let go and let old ways of being die off. You need to recognize it and let it die, whether that be relationships, whether that be personality traits, whether that be habits, whatever. If something is plaguing you, you need to let it die because it will only be for your greater good. And then the Judgment card. You are subject to strong forces, and strong forces are yours to wield. You have the task and the opportunity to resolve and to transform. Basic desires and fears, apportioning blame and blaming oneself need to be worked on again and again until the dungeons of the past have been cleared out at the citadel, and the citadel of the future has a firm foundation. Only then does rebirth bring a new quality of life instead of weary repetition. The sense of release after confession, talking things through, a declaration of love. Draw the line, go for the reconciliation, or take the consequences and depart. Everything is important. You made decisions in the past, and right now you are free to make new ones and choose the path to take. Learn how to forgive without forgetting and without hanging on to a grudge. A break in the daily routine works wonders. Select some guiding principles and visions which suit your experiences and needs. You have huge reserves of energy. So literally that's what I was saying. Like, learn, like, we can take the biblical message of the day of judgment. Literally, today is the day. Each and every day, the task is the same: to wake up and mobilize all our energies. And that means burying what is dead properly and being open to receive the dawn of what is to come. So everything I said, I hope that resonated with you guys, and I hope that brings you some solace in this time of confusion and fear. Don't let the fear win. Don't let your thoughts win. Like I said, get it out. Let yourself feel it and move on. Because there's nothing good that comes from holding on to something and repeating it to yourself or repeating it out loud to different people to try to reaffirm how you feel. Just state how you feel. Instead of saying, this is the problem that keeps happening in my life, say, why am I allowing this to continue in my life? It is only continuing because I allow it or because I choose to ignore it. Okay, so I love you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. I will be here for anyone, all of you, every single one of you. If you need some guidance, if you'd like a personal reading, I would be more than happy to give you one. Yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.